Mike Johnson and Congress have done a great job, but we're having a hard time in the Senate. The Senate, what they're doing is just not right. Congress is going to pass it again. They passed it 3 times. They're going to pass it again. It's like the Senate is a place that you send things when you want them to die. We can't do this, and we're not going to take this any longer. We're not going to take it. You know, I'm trying to be nice, trying to be really nice.
George Conway joins Jake and Michael and me. Let's talk about the juju in the Senate right now, between the Senate and the House and the president. How's it going, Jake?
Not great, Katie. Let's put it that way, not great. So the House moved this week expeditiously to approve a budget resolution, which would theoretically unlock a process by which Congress and the president could enact a bill that would give $95 billion to a host of the president's priorities, including the Save America Act, including $60 billion for the Pentagon, which needs money because of the Iran war and a bunch of weapons, a bunch of money they've given to Ukraine over the years. They're short cash. How? I don't know. I'm not an accountant at the Pentagon. So the House passed it quickly. The Senate is saying, hold on a second, we're not going to do anything with this until we figure out government funding, which expires in 2 months from now in September. Now, there's a whole bunch of different ways to look at this, but the cleanest way is when you do reconciliation, we have something called a vote-a-rama up here. Lawmakers are given the ability to offer any amendment that's germane to the bill, and it has to be voted on. So that would open up a ton of politically difficult amendments for Republicans who are trying to hold on to control of the Senate. Plus, Thune doesn't think he has, John Thune, that is, the Senate Majority Leader, doesn't think he has the votes to even start this process, nor does he think he has the votes for the Save America Act. So Caroline Leavitt this morning at the White House podium said, you know, the president's patience is wearing thin with John Thune, and John Thune shot back to reporters, including one of our reporters today, well, tell them to come up here and get the votes, pick up the phone, and let's figure out how to get the votes on this bill. So things are not going great. And the House, Katie, is looking at the Senate like it's, you know, they're a bunch of big black furry creatures from Mars, and like it's 1992 again, which is not good. And this is you got to say this is the president's top priority. All of this stuff is the president's top priorities. And, you know, he's getting frustrated. The legislative process, Katie, is really difficult. And if you're only half in the game and not fully in the game, trying to figure out how to cut a deal, it's very difficult, especially when you are a lame duck.
It is a divided sky between the Senate and the House. I think we can say it that way as well. George, why is the president unwilling to acknowledge the reality of the Senate and try to work with them on anything that they can get passed? I mean, you have Caroline Leavitt trashing Thune through the president, or the president trashing Thune through Caroline Leavitt. Why doesn't he just pick up the phone and try to make it work?
I mean, he's asking for things they're not going to give him, like the Save America Act. I mean, he's not connected with reality much anymore.
Is that what it is?
I think that's really part of it. I think, you know, I think he really thinks that nothing, I mean, I think he's reached this ultimate nihilistic stage in his life where he doesn't think anything matters. Like, let's take a look at the Iran war. Declares that he's won it. Now he's now re-engaged in that war, and he's not talking about it. And then they're asking more money from Congress for it. There's a detachment from reality there that I really think is going to make things worse for the Republicans in the fall. I mean, talking about how the Democrats have been are making up issues about affordability and talking about focusing on his ballroom and his Qatari jet and all these things. He's not really functioning in any way, even as he did in the first term. At least he was passing as a president. Now he doesn't know what he's doing and why he's doing it, except that he wants that Save America Act passed because that's his way of holding on to power.
So I wonder, and we've been exploring this on this show the past few days, Michael, if the president has lost what was once one of his superpowers, which was the power of persuasion. Is he just not persuasive any longer? Are Republicans in Congress, are voters out there, are they starting, even MAGA voters, are they starting, Fox News, are they starting to look past him and see him as somebody that they're going to be done with in a couple of years?
Past him, certainly, and you'll see more of that as we get into the fall, and certainly the Wednesday after the November elections, the bell will ring for the 2028 cycle. So there's some of that. I think though there is a detachment that the president has, an expectation, because he had early success in the first 6-8 months of his second term, knocking down, breaking things, everything everywhere all at once. And everything kind of fell for him. You've turned a corner where the things you're starting to ask for now have real political consequences for members who are on the ballot, unlike him, this November. And so when you don't really give a damn about the Republican Party that you lead, and you certainly don't give a damn about the individuals who make up the leadership of that party, you expect them to just roll over and give you what you want. But they're like, well, wait a minute. John Thune has a responsibility to the chamber, to the men and the women in his caucus that he wants to come back to keep him in the majority come next January. And that's becoming more and more fraught. The Save America Act, any Republican who votes on that is DOA. It's just not a winning argument or case you can make to your voters. Everyone knows what it is. It has been designed and defined in a way that's negative. And so he doesn't appreciate that piece of it. He just wants what he wants, to George's point. And Thune, to the majority leader's point, is not having it. It's like, if you want the vote, then you come up here and get those 5 Republicans who are saying no to vote yes. Because I can't do it. And they're not going to vote yes for you because 2 of them, at least, you kick their behinds in their Republican primaries. So I don't think they're going to help you. And the one who decided to leave on his own doesn't want anything to do with you. And then there's Murkowski and Senator Murkowski and Collins. So you come and do it. And the president's not.
Collins is in a tough re-election battle up there in Maine. Every single vote matters very much and is being looked at very critically up there. Okay, Jake, we've moved on from 1992. It is 1993. You have one last chance to say yes to my invite. I will leave it open for you. Michael,
the show begins in a couple hours, Katie. I'm not sure I'm going to make it.
No, it's not. It's tomorrow. What's going on with you? You're not on your game, buddy.
I have Congress brain.
We got to fix that.
That's fatal.
We got to wipe it. We got to sandblast it with some fish. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. You can see much more of Michael, as you know, on the weeknight, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. is Eastern, right here on MS Now.